We're ready for you.
Recording in progress.
Calling this public meeting of the BZA's Board of Zoning Appeals to order at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, August 24th, 2022. Take a roll call.
Okay, Calabro has an excused absence.
Excused absence.
Okay, Hoop,
Here.
Zalesnik,
Here.
Schaefer,
Here.
Rubel, here, Schrader,
Here.
Trustee Augustine is in the audience, and Zoning Inspector Wilson, and that's it.
Okay, and Tom Schrader will move up to replace Josephine for tonight's hearing to have a full board. This meeting is being taped for transcription purposes only, and all written minutes and attachments, if any, will serve as the official record of this meeting. Any board member who has a monetary interest or conflict, including ex parte communication, should disclose now. I will now ask the zoning, we took roll call. I will now ask the legal notice of the hearing to be read.
The Hinckley Township Board of Zoning Appeals will hold two public hearings on Wednesday, August 24th, 2022 at 7 p.m. The first hearing to begin at 7 p.m. and the second to follow at the Administration Building located at 1410 Ridge Road, which is on the southwest corner of the intersection of State Routes 3 and 303. Subject to the first hearing is as follows. An application for variance AP0267 was submitted by applicant Leon Sampet, architect, on behalf of property owner George Sabella of 2668 Stony Hill Road, Hinckley, Ohio, permanent parcel number 01603C33056, requesting to construct an accessory building at said property in a location that does not meet the side yard setback of 30 feet. Inspection of this property will take place on Saturday, August 20th, 2022 at 10 o'clock a.m. Zoning reference, Chapter 6, District Regulations, subsection 6R1.4.e and 6R1.6.a.1 of the Hinckley Township Zoning Regulations. Copies of these applications and other supportive material will be available for public viewing from the date of this notice to the date of hearing at the Zoning Department located in the Administration Building at 1410 Ridge Road, Monday 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Tuesday through Thursday 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., and Friday 9 a.m. to noon. Information may also be found on the Hinckley website at www.hinkleytwp.org under News and Events titled Board of Zoning Appeals Public Hearing. All interested parties are asked to attend this hearing or to send written comments to the Hinckley Township Board of Zoning Appeals, P.O. Box 344, Hinckley, Ohio 44233. Log into www.hinkleytwp.org for Zoom option to observe/listen only. Must be in person to speak/participate in meeting.
Thank you. The Hinckley Township Board of Zoning Appeals acts within the authority of Section 519 of the Ohio Revised Code and exercises its power as provided under Chapters 7 and 13 of the Hinckley Township Zoning Regulations. All public hearings are open to the public. All persons wishing to testify must do so from the podium, must identify themselves, give their resident address, and must be sworn in. Evidence and testimony must be pertinent to the hearing. It is the chairman's discretion to limit personal comments, personal attacks, opinions, and or repetitious statements or testimony or evidence previously given. Disrupted persons will lose their right to remain at this hearing. Personal attacks will not be tolerated. This is a hearing upon the application of Leon Sampet, architect, on behalf of the property owners of George Sabella of 2668 Hinckley Road, Hinckley, Ohio, for a variance from the enforcement of certain Hinckley zoning township resolution sections to property owners by the applicant.
Stony Hill Road.
What's that?
Stony Hill Road.
Stony Hill Road. The applicant has submitted the packets that which you have, the applicant has submitted the packet that which you have, which includes original variance applications, letters from property owners, renderings or drawings and site maps, all related to the variance request. Notice of this application was given to the local newspapers and the application has been available for public review and comment. I will now ask the secretary if we have received any phone calls or other correspondence that have been received that relate to this application.
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay. I note for the record that non-communications made by known or unknown persons not under oath at the properly noticed hearing is not accepted by the Board of Appeals as testimony. Each member of the Board of Appeals has been provided a copy of the application and a copy of each of the documents submitted in support of this application. We will now poll each member of the Board of Zoning Appeals by asking them to respond yes if they have received the contents of the application and have done the site visit.
Hoop?
Yes, and the site visit was on Saturday.
Zalesnik?
Yes to both. Site visit on Saturday, the 20th.
Schaefer?
Yes, on both. Visited on Saturday.
Rubel?
Yes and yes, visit on Saturday, August 20th.
Schrader?
Yes and yes, visit Saturday, August 20th.
Written communications from persons not present this evening may include communications that are not made by affidavit. Because these communications are made by persons not under oath, they are not accepted by this board. I also note that the written communications may include some writings by affidavit by persons that are not present this evening and therefore cannot be subject to cross-examination. These affidavits therefore will not be given much weight, if any, in the decision of this matter. This board has the power to grant the application's request for a variance. Those people that wish to speak must do so from the podium and must state their name, address before addressing the board. All testimony must be given from the podium. We ask that the audience to save personal conversations for after the meeting as additional voices cause confusion in attending virtually. Will the applicant come up to the podium?
Tim Zarati, 6544 Sutton Drive. That's in North Olmsted.
Okay, do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth as you shall answer under God?
Sure.
Okay,
We going to swear in the
yeah.
second person?
second one.
I'm George Sabella,
Okay.
2668 Stony Hill,
All right,
subject
you swear
property.
to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth as you should answer under God?
I do.
Okay. Do you have any information to add or tell us what you're doing?
I guess briefly, I'd be glad to answer any questions, but if you look at our house from the street, the existing garage, we're looking to build an identical looking structure on the other side. Will not be any larger than our current garage. Because we all know about with the COVID thing going on, we've turned a large portion of our current garage into a home gym, and my car gets parked outside. My wife also works at the Cleveland Clinic. We'd like to put an office in there, and there's not an extra room in the house for an office, and working inside the house is not conducive with the dog to her job. So this would be a structure that would look identical to the existing garage, just on the other side of the driveway. When it comes to the lights, the stone, the windows, everything will be identical. And it will be completely on our property. So that's really all I have. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Yes. Who staked out the garage for us?
We both did.
Okay, where is the property line? We had a hard time deciding where the property line when we were out there on the site because there was no representative there. And a neighbor happened to be out there, and he explained that the property line was on the fence that went between the two lines.
Perpendicular, right. The one that was in.
Behind the house, yes.
Correct.
Okay, when we did our measurements, we measured out the building,
Mhm.
and that came out okay, but we we found that the back of the building was 4 foot and a few inches away from the property line, which does not go along with the 16.9 that is set here in the drawing that you presented for the variance that you're looking
The
for.
location of the building on the property wasn't represented accurately by the architect when it was designed and put onto the civil map. So it was basically in the wrong spot for what they wanted.
So explain what is it that you want?
They just want not to infringe on the existing concrete turnaround drive. And they would just like to push it back closer to the property line.
Okay, so you are asking right now for where's my number here?
4 foot.
You're asking for 13, variance of 13 foot 3 inches, which is 16 foot 9 inches away from the property line. Now, the way it was staked, you're asking for a variance of basically, 25, basically 25 feet, because the stakes are approximately 4 feet.
Right. So the actual location of the building, we actually discovered it on Saturday as we were staking it out, as I was getting ready to lay out the position of the building on the property. We didn't realize that the architect who designed it had put it 27 foot, I believe, away from the existing garage. And where we had originally looked at where they wanted it, we always had talked about leaving the existing concrete and building the structure from there back
So
to the south.
okay, so what you're asking for is something different than what you have requested on your application.
What's been represented, correct?
Tom, could you step in and give us a little advice on this?
Sure. Well,
Tom Wilson is the zoning inspector, by the way.
Yes, we met.
why don't you show us on here, the different dimensions that you're asking for.
The dimensions are identical.
Well, the structure size.
The structure size is identical.
Yep.
If we build it where it is on this, it would actually be built on top of the driveway.
Right, you can see where the
Yeah.
line represents. the
Right,
existing
okay, this is
concrete.
your driveway.
Yeah, and the reason for that was the architect, and we didn't realize this until we met,
Saturday.
but the reason is he said you need a 27-foot turnaround for the cars to be able to turn around. So he drafted it 27 feet, I'm saying 27 feet off so the cars can turn around. That's the 27 feet. That's very tight. And of course, that would look terrible from the street. It lends itself perfectly, as you would see. When you guys saw where it was staked out, it lends itself perfectly.
So
So it would,
can you tell us how close to the lot line it would be? Are you telling us you're going to move this building back like this?
South, correct.
Yeah.
So
And-
I just want to be clear. So you're asking for approximately a 25-foot variant.
correct.
Correct.
Okay.
So not where it's currently staked out.
Exactly
No,
where it's
we
currently
actually did
staked out.
Stake it out where the owners want it.
Where it makes sense and where it will be.
Saturday?
Yes, yes.
Which is
The drawing,
which is approximately a little over 4 feet.
Right.
Right.
From the property line, it would be 4 foot-ish. Right. I didn't
Okay. Yeah.
obviously get
Yeah,
into
it's
the-
approximate. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
in talking to the neighbor to the south, he had said, although he not the owner of that property, he said coming to the property line would be the best thing for him because then nobody has to maintain that and it would look nice. So they have no objection to it, but they're not the property owner.
Well, I'll tell you what, right now, I don't think we can continue with this hearing because you are now asking for a variance which is closer than as advertised. It's advertised for 16.9 from the line.
Mhm.
If you went further away, we could continue this. You went closer, much closer. So this now throws this out. So really, we cannot continue this hearing. You would have to re-advertise
Okay, so redo the layout on the civil drawing and locate the
You have to put a whole new application in.
Okay.
And just to let you know, that 4 feet is pretty tight, just to let you know. That's a very large variance. Just general information.
Okay,
You agree, Tom?
Yeah.
As being
yes,
in the office?
yes.
It can't be heard tonight.
Yeah, that's correct.
Well, it can't be here. We just can't hear this one at all.
The variance is greater than, yeah.
I do have a question. You're saying that you need this because the garage is now a gym and like an office right now?
This building is going to be an office.
Yeah, but I mean, the
The
existing.
existing garage is now a gym
Yes.
and it houses some vehicles with motorcycles.
Okay.
My car is parked in the driveway.
Okay. Did you give any consideration to putting an addition onto the back of a house or
Yes, we did.
whatever?
There's,
And then
yeah,
why wasn't the gym put in the addition and the office?
but it's a 2-bedroom home. If you see the layout of the house, it's a 2-bedroom home. So you'd have to go off one of the bedrooms in the back. There's no way to go out from anywhere except through a bedroom.
Okay.
And it's a total of 3 bedrooms. They're on the east and west side of the house. So you'd have to go through a bedroom to put an addition onto the house. Going out the back, you have the back deck. Of course, you can't build out towards the front. This would be the what would make sense the most. I think it would look best in the neighborhood. I think it would be good for the property values. I think it would be good from an appearance standpoint. My wife actually came up with the idea, as long as it looks identical to the existing garage, scaled down, the peaks of the house don't exceed the existing peaks. It's on our property. The neighbors appreciate the privacy, and we share a tractor, so it gives them access to come get the tractor without coming into our garage. The 3 houses there on Stony Hill, as you guys saw, we all 3 of us share the same tractor. So it would be in an outbuilding that everyone can come and access the tractor whenever they need to cut their grass, use it for the driveway. It just made a lot of sense. It gives my wife some privacy to be out of the house, but working from home, to be on the phone. We have a dog. There's no cons I see except for needing this variance and the cost.
Okay. Second thing is, now that you're going to have to re-advertise, and you agree with us on that, so there's going to be another Saturday inspection. Is somebody going to be out there that will answer our questions if we have any questions as to where a property line is or anything?
Yes, barring any emergencies or anything. I did call and talk to somebody, and then I think there was a Suzanne that called me back and said there'd be no problem. And I left my phone number and said, if anybody needed to call me on Saturday, I'd be glad to walk them through on the phone. Saturday was my birthday, and we were,
Well, happy birthday.
thank you. And we had plans. But I did call to make sure that was okay, and that there'd be, in case it needed to be moved, or if I could be on the phone remotely for the meeting. And,
Well, normally that would be okay, other than the fact that the staking did not match the application and the drawings.
Yeah.
That, we spent a lot of time out there trying to figure out where property lines were and looking at the drawing. Because, when I look at the drawing before I go out, I just glance at it, look at the numbers, say, okay, I don't really look at it real close. We went out there and measured, and things didn't look right. It was finally a neighbor of yours that came back. I said, where's the property line? And that neighbor explained it was the fence.
Yeah.
So once we knew that, then we come up with a 4 foot and a few inches and said, this is not right at all.
Yeah.
So,
We actually came up with 3 possibilities as to where the property line was. And that's not a great way to do an inspection.
Yeah, I really apologize for that. I wish somebody would have called. But I think when you guys saw where it was staked, that's where it makes the most sense of where it to be. If it was placed where that drawing is, I think it would look awful. I would object to it.
Mm.
It would be in my driveway.
Well, I thought you'd have a hard time getting into the garage.
That was the whole thing. But that's why so if you guys saw where it was staked out, it would make the most sense from an appearance standpoint, from a functionality standpoint.
Okay, well, if you get
look at-
everything done in time, we might be seeing you next month.
I think for the purpose of our record keeping, and correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, we should either request that they withdraw their application, or we should do either a motion to table or,
But we can't do it, we can't table it or continue it.
okay.
Have to reject.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They have to reapply.
Right.
Right, Tom?
I believe so,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah,
it's
it's,
officially reject.
So I'm,
Only we can't continue it because this is now basically, for in other words, it's a bogus application for what you really want.
right.
so I'm just saying for formality purposes, we should either vote to reject this as it is, or they can withdraw it voluntarily just for a record keeping.
Correct.
Okay, now, it's been a while since I read this section of the book. Maybe, Tom, you're better on this. If we vote on it and turn it down, is there a time limit before they can reapply?
No, we're actually not turning it down.
No.
All we're
Well-
saying is we cannot hear it.
Okay. So just like what we did with the situation on West 130th, but we're going to, stipulate here at the meeting that we have no problem with him reapplying within, for next month.
Right.
I just want to make sure that he doesn't run afoul of some thing in the book. And at one time, might be from the 90s or whatever, it was a thing where you couldn't reapply for like 6 months.
Yeah.
And I'm not 100% sure if that's still in the book. So I just want to make sure that it's kind of a strange situation here.
Well, I would think if you would withdraw the application, we'll vote on it to say.
But if they withdraw it, they don't vote.
Yeah, that
I think that's the best way to handle it. They withdraw it and then they can reapply. That way we haven't voted him down or anything else like
Right.
that. And,
Yeah, otherwise I
there's no
think we
problem.
have to vote it down because we can't leave it hanging.
Well, that's why they would withdraw
if
it.
they
Yeah.
withdraw.
We'd be glad to do that, redraw it up and propose it as the way you guys saw it, where it was staked.
So for the record, you're withdrawing your application due to incorrect information.
Sure.
Okay, that's fine. And I guess that ends the hearing.
Yeah.
Sorry, gentlemen. It's-
Thank you.
See you next month. We would be able to make the deadline for the next month. Is that?
If you get everything into Suzanne in time, yes. I don't know, Tom would be better on that.
Yeah, everything needs to be in by the 22nd, so
No.
we passed this month.
Yeah, so it'd be a month, right, so.
Be talking about
it'd be
October.
October, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you for your time.
I adjourn hearing number 1 at 7:23. The applicant has withdrawn his application.